Let's talk about The Last Starfighter. When I saw this film, I was immediately basically, fell in love with it right away. I'm a sci-fi guy, so there's no question that's, part of it. But a film is the sum of its parts. You can't, well, you can argue like you like, one thing about a film. Look at Transformers and Michael Bay. If you like big explosions, you're going to love Michael Bay films. But Last Starfire, there's so much about this film that all works together to make one, I'm going to call it one great gem that just I don't think never got the love it did. Oh, hi, Pete. Yeah, I love this film too. It's amazing. Released back in '84. So that's a long time ago, folks. Directed by someone named Nick Castle. Anyone know who Nick Castle is? I was, oh, it's a movie. It is, Braz. Yeah, Last Starfighter. It's a Disney movie. And it's a great movie if you haven't seen it. Ghostbusters, Gremlins, and Karate Kid all came out in June, so that's some stiff competition. That's probably why this got lost in the shuffle. Anyways, Nick Castle. His claim to fame, get this. He played Michael Myers in Halloween. Yes, that is the same Nick Castle. Incredible. He actually did quite a bit of directing since then. And also co-wrote Escape from New York. Other things to direct it: Dennis the Menace and Major Payne. 15 million. Nick Castle was in Halloween. He was Michael Myers, man. He was Michael Myers. He had the cameo in 2018. He was the guy in the suit. Let me see. $15 million. And it wasn't because of the acting of the scenes. It was because of the CGI. The CGI was really expensive. There's a lot of it in here. It's one of the first films to make early use of it. Made 29 million, which wasn't exactly a box office smash. So it kind of got lost in the shuffle. As Switz pointed out, Ghostbuster, Gremlins, Karate Kid, it had huge competition. It just got basically absolutely lost in the shuffle. Temple of Doom came out in May the same year, apparently. Yeah. But let's get into it here. Let's talk about the cast. Last guest is Alex Rogan. His first role, Halloween 2, go figure. Also known for starring in Jaws Revenge. Don't watch that. The best thing I'm going to say about Jaws Revenge is that Michael Caine said that I remember that film. It bought me a house. Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you very much, Rudsy. We're just writing down Last Starfighter here, talking about Lance Guest here. He's had various TV roles over the years. Claim to fame most recently, plays Johnny Cash on Broadway. Thanks, Rudsy. Much appreciated. Meg is played by Catherine Mary Stewart, also known for films such as Night of the Comet and Weekend at Bernie's, which probably no one's ever seen, but I've seen. Weekend at Bernie's, I'll cover another video because it's a little crazy. It's about a guy who dies, and two guys have to pretend he's alive. It's crazy. She's worked really since the 80s in TV. She's been all over. But as I said, remember I said about the sum of the sum of its parts? Catherine and Lance had instant chemistry. You can see it on the screen. They're totally believable as Alex and Maggie, as boyfriend and girlfriend. And I think that really helps elevate the film. I think he might have written Hook. I'm not sure, Big Pete. I know he co-wrote Escape from New York for sure. Then we got Daniel Hurley as Grigg. You might know him as the old man from RoboCop. That's him under all that layers of rubber, basically. Started acting back in 47. He's got a long resume. And he's been around a while. And like I said, he tears it up. You gotta have aliens in a movie like this, right? Again, him and Lance Guest chemistry, absolutely wonderful on stream. And of course, Robert Preston. This is his last film before he passed away as Centauri. This guy steals the show as a fast-talking, conniving, kind of whatever, alien, whatever it could be. This one really kind of steals the show and adds a bit of humor to the film. He started working back in 38, believe it or not. He was around a long time before 84. Known for The Music Man on Broadway. Won a Tony for it. Prize role in the 62 film. Many compare his character of Centauri to that same character in The Music Man. And you wouldn't know anything else he was in. I saw Victor Victoria, but I don't think anyone else has. Yeah, he was amazing. Like I said, it's all these pieces together that just actually brings the film along. Yeah, he sing 66 trombones in this movie too. He could have, and we would never have seen it basically. Hologram Al from Quantum Leap. I can see that. But like I said, those four actors just bring this film to another level. Absolutely. So for Braz, spoilers, here's the plot for you, dude. So Alex Rogan helps his mom, runs a trailer park, has dreams of going to college, can't afford to get there. But he's good at one thing, and that's playing this video game called Starfighter. And like I said, it's small town, backwater life. He has dreams of bigger things. So one night, basically, after he gets a college rejection letter, kind of like Luke Skywalker, like, I'm guess I'm stuck here for another season. Again, I'll make a quick point here. This film tried as much as it could to get away from Star Wars. Every sci-fi film after Star Wars compared to Star Wars, and it tried to do everything, like setting it out in the suburbans, away from the city and so forth. But like I said, having him stuck on the trailer park is like having Luke Skywalker stuck on the farm. Anyways, after getting rejected from college, goes and plays Starfighter, and he breaks the record. Wow. Everybody's like, yeah, congratulations. Centauri shows up, offers him the trip of a lifetime, takes him off to Rylos, where to actually try to enroll him or enlist him in the last Starfighter, which is actually a real thing. And I'm sure the fans out there could actually quote the whole thing, greeting Starfighter. You've been recruited, Starlink defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. And of course, he meets Grig, his co-pilot and all that, and decides, you know what? Not going to happen. Hey, geeks, I haven't been doing it, man. So Alex really can't believe this is happening. And he says, this is really crazy. I'm going to go back home, why not, kind of thing. And, there's a scene here with a melting head, which you got to see to believe. But anyways, Zur, who is like one of the evil Rylosians, and the Kodans. Oh, the video game basically. So what is the video game that centers around this thing basically was there's little throwaway lines in here you got to pay attention to. And Centauri is challenged, goes, how'd you find him? Did he pass the Excalibur test? Which we know what the test is. And Centauri says, no, I invented what was called a video game. It was destined for Las Vegas, but it wound up at a trailer park instead, basically. Anytime someone does those little throwaway lines about, like the Excalibur test or any kind of like really subtle subplots, I think it's fantastic. Anyways, Alex is not about to get himself killed in a galaxy far, far away. Goes back home. Unfortunately, basically, Zur knows that he's still around, sends off an intergalactic hit beast, which is pretty funny, actually, when you look at it. But pretty scary, though, back in 84. Hit beast comes after him. Says has to go back kind of thing. But don't worry. Leave behind a beta unit, a robotic duplicate of Alex to act as decoy. Now, what's funny is when they first did test screenings, the beta unit had a really small part. It was so popular, they had to go back and shoot more scenes. So, and apparently Lance Guest was in a car accident, so they had to, put out heavy makeup on him and do a wig because he didn't look as good as he did before. Take a look. I think the Ulus are too ugly to save. Geeks versus geeks. Gotta shout out, buddy. He is a huge Last Starfighter fan, and I'll tell you right now, he probably knows all the quotes. And I like to know basically how quotable a movie is. And Last Starfighter is fairly quotable. Yeah, like Mark Hamill was in a car accident. So was Lance Guest. I didn't notice it though, basically. Anyways, Alex goes off, goes back fighting, and the fantastic Gunstar, big battle, saves the day. So. Like I said, I want you to watch the film and not hear me narrate the film. But what you're looking at here basically is one of the heavy uses of CGI in the movie. Each scene contained over 255,000 polygons, We're not talking basically the modern computers of today. We're talking basically some of the earlier cutting edge stuff that took long time to put together. 300 scenes, 250,000 polygons of animation. It holds up pretty good. Like, it does look a little cheesy, but it holds up pretty good today, geeks. But you know what? It still saved half the time and was a third of the cost of using practical effects. Now, you'll hear me when I talk about The Blob and other films that use heavily used practical effects. I love practical effects. CGI to me kind of feels fake, and no matter how good it is, give me a good practical effect any day. Unfortunately, I don't think you could have done this as well with practical effects as it does with CGI. If you're curious, 38 days to shoot, and most of the $15 million budget was because of the polygons. Of course, Alex saves a day, comes back, gets Maggie, has to go back, defend the Star League, and rebuild the Starfighters, setting us up for a sequel that has never come. It's been in, the sequel's been in, what do you call it? Development limbo for decades. It was going to be right away, then not right away. It was going to be basically a TV show, then not a TV show. Now, I heard if you go on YouTube, someone who has the rights to it does have a sizzle reel up for the sequel. I think it could work. I probably do a TV show instead of a straight film, just because I don't know could justify the cost of a film. Well, then again, though, TV series do cost a lot, but I think it would work good as a miniseries, even just a short 4 or 5 episode one. You know what, geeks? I agree. I'm okay with not a sequel too. I think the film stands alone well on its own. It doesn't need a sequel. Yeah, I think even back in '84, if they did a sequel, I don't think it would have worked out well. Too bad, really, because it's probably too hard to bring back many of the original cast. I think they brought back the original cast, and to mention 2 of them have passed away. They'd probably make Alex like, the leader of the Star League, who just stands back and, mentors people and stuff like that. But I don't know. Oh, I'd be remiss too if I don't talk about the score. I'll get there in a minute. What's about the verdict? Well, it holds up pretty good on Rotten Tomatoes. 76%, 6.6. Pretty decent all around, basically. Even though when it came out, critics kind of gave it, basically was an average. But they've all agreed, though. It was a strong performance by the cast all around. A fun watch. Couldn't shake comparisons to Star Wars or Star Trek. It holds up well today as a fun watch. I had to be remiss if I forgot to mention this. The music is incredible. Listen to the soundtrack. It's done by Craig Safan, and it's top notch. He's done a few other scores and stuff, but his last Starfighter music is absolutely incredible. And I thought it was like one of the best scores I've heard in a long time. And I'll take a quick break here. Let me see if this will work or not. Fingers crossed here. We're talking about quotable quotes, right? Try this one here. So here's one for you geeks. This is one of my favorite quotes from the film. You know it, geeks.
Damage report. Guidance system out. Auxiliary steering out. Divert! Divert! She won't answer the helm. We're locked in
Some
the
of that
moon's
CGI?
gravitational pull. What do we do? We die.
And there's some of that CGI. As cheesy as it was, it's good. There's some of that Safan score. And like I said, it's stuff like that that keeps me bringing me back to the film again and again. And someone asked me too, what is cinema? What makes it for you? I'll tell you what. I found this one scene in the film that I think basically is my favorite shot. And it basically sums up the character without words. It uses music. So basically the scene, Alex basically realizes he's stuck in his, this trailer park, but he has bigger dreams. And without using any words, just music and imagery with some wind, the director shows that Alex does have a dream. So check this out. I think this is just, like I said, this is cinema.
Hey, that's a good idea. Yeah, but we're playing cards when it's. Well, Mrs. wants to go into town tonight and go dancing.
Like I said, there's the wind moving the mobile around, getting Alex to realize there's more than life than where he is. Kind of foreshadowing, basically, of what he's going to be doing in the future. You got Stefan's score in the background, really, really driving home the point. And you see, basically, you know, he's in a better mood. And of course, foreshadowing Rylos. Again, it's one of my favorite scenes. If you ask me, basically, that's cinema right there. It's not too often you find those scenes that just really make a film like that. And that one scene makes a film. Again, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a short little movie. It's fun. Oh, I'm getting to that, Pete, about the NES. We're going to talk about merch in a minute. You hold on for that one. But again, though, I own it on Blu-ray, and I think it's a good, fun little watch. Pull it out once in a while. If you got streaming, you know where to find it. Like I said, if you want to know more about it, go find Geeks versus Geeks on Twitch. Follow them; they're gonna tell you about it. But yeah. Now, if you like that film, Uncle Goody always has recommendations for you. So here's some other films you might like on the same venue: The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, starring Peter Weller, RoboCop. It's a little weird, but fun. He's basically a rock and roll playing a physicist who's fighting aliens from the seventh dimension. Tron, which we all know and love. Guy gets sucked in a computer, fights on the grid. Lots of CGI on that one too as well. And those two basically have that same kind of weird, interesting adventure vibe. But if you're looking for basically that kid in sci-fi, try these films. Fly the Navigator. Tron fights for the user. Absolutely geeks. Fly the Navigator. This kid finds a strange spaceship, controls it, goes on a basically trip through time and space. Ha 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 ha. Another Disney film. The voice of the ship was Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman. Very cute. And the other one I'm going to throw out, which is not a great film, it's called Space Raiders. It's about this crew of space people that find this kid and take him on an adventure. It gets a lot of heat for being too much like Star Wars, but I tell you what, if you want the same vibe and feel, Space Raiders is the way to go. Yeah, Flight Navigator is good. It holds up. But here's something I really want to talk about too, is also the merch. So, 84, you got lunchboxes. This is your typical plastic lunchbox with a thermos. They didn't hold very much. Yeah, Alex playing the last Starfighter game. Like I said, when the film came out, since it was not a box office smash, a lot of the merch went, but we got a lunchbox. FASA, F-A-S-A, makers of the Doctor Who, Star Trek, and other role-playing games, did a series of games for Last Starfighter. One of the most obscure properties I can imagine. They came in, two of them came in boxes, about the size of a VHS case. He had Tunnel Chase, where you take a gun star through the tunnels, shooting other enemies, trying to rack the highest score. This game was be able to play from 2 to 25 people, because that's how many gun stars there were. Their duel in space was very interesting. So what it is one person had a gun star, the other one had a deck fighter, and you had a wheel that you would turn around to various points to represent your facing. And you can assault grids and stuff for your shots and maneuverability. Very interesting concept. Very interesting concept. We used it too for a Star Trek set with the Reliance and the Enterprise, another one. I wouldn't mind having this again just for collectability, for nostalgia's sakes. I didn't own this one. I did own Tunnel Chase. It was okay. And for some reason, they made a massive game called the Combat Game. This was a large, probably 4-foot square grid of hexagons. You had, again, deck fighters, and of course the Starfighter Gunstars, and you actually would dogfighting each other. Not a great game, but it was very kind of math based, heavy, and all that. But it was a game. Now, Big Pete Crows talked about the last Starfighter game, and we did get a last Starfighter game in 1990. However, this is just basically a reskin of a game called Erdium for the Nintendo 64. All they did basically was change the title screen, throw in the soundtrack, the theme for Last Starfighter, and change some of the sprites. And that's it. You're right, geeks. They were going to do one for the 2600, 5200. But they dropped it once they saw the movie wasn't doing that well. And the prototype did get released as Star Raiders 2, which wasn't that great. Drop it, links. Drop it in there, geeks. Go for it. Yeah, like I said, this one was just basically a simple reskin. It wasn't even really kind of, like a really good tie-in. That's all the real merch we got. But check this out. There were actually a line of figures were going to be released by Galoob. These are prototypes. Someone has these in their private collection as hand-painted prototypes. And when the movie didn't succeed, the whole line was trashed. I can't believe that I'm seeing this for the first time, in 40 years. I know. I'd love to have any one of these. They're just prototypes. Who knows what we could have had. Now, for the $64,000 question, chat, did they make a last Starfighter arcade game? That's the question. Yep. And I thought about it, and I swore up and down that they didn't make Last Starfighter arcade game. And I swore up and down, but I remember seeing a contest saying you could win one. I thought maybe I was crazy, right? Maybe I was thinking like it was the Mandela effect. Thinking of like the Sinbad Genie movie doesn't exist. You liked? Nice. But anyways, I got one for you. No, this is really better, geeks. Check this out. This is how my brain works. This is General Mills Count Chocula from Canada. You notice the French wording on it. Free inside, the Last Starfighter action booklet. And on the back, it's showing the booklet. But there's an advertisement down there in the corner. You see that? What does that say? I'll tell you what it says. Win your very own Last Starfighter VR arcade game. You and your friends can play it right in your own home. See side panel for details. Also, 5 first prize, a show a week for a year at Canadian Odeon Cineplex theaters, which don't exist no more. So I wondered what happened to this, right? Because guess what? No arcade game was produced. Atari was making one at the time, but they figured it would cost $10,000 a unit back in '84. An astronomical price that was never going to happen, so they didn't make one. The winner of this contest got a couple $1,000s instead of the actual game. Big deal, that kind of thing. And I remember this. Remember this super vividly that this is going to happen. I wonder what happened. No, there was no game to award. However, back in 07, as Geeks just linked, someone actually made a Last Starfighter game you can play on the PC for free. Download it, knock your socks off if you want to go for it. They did a short documentary, but the original cabinet for the movie was destroyed. So Rogue Synapse made a new cabinet for the actual documentary. Awesome. And some people can buy the cabinet and put the Last Starfighter game inside to play if you want. But no game was made because it was too expensive. And like I said, but never underestimate the power of geeks. But $10,000. And don't forget too, this is back in '84. '85 was the great video game crash too. Yeah, give it a try. Give it a try, Big Pete. Like I said, it's fun. It's different, and it reminds me of what could have been. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Like I said, if you get a chance, go watch Last Starfighter, because it's really good.